Celestia was opulent as ever. I walked in through the doors, admiring the grandeur of the hotel. It was a stunningly elegant space with warm and maroon tones that blended beautifully with gold. Ms. Castra? I turned at the sound of my name and came across a man making a beeline for me from across the room. He was young. Not more than 20, I'd assume. Despite the professional three-piece suit he was wearing, there was a charming, playful aura about the way he smiled and walked across the room. Liam Larson, tech guy of the trio. He held out his hand and I shook it. I am here to escort you to Kai. Pleasure to meet you. I am Leyla. I know. He winked. His aura was so contagious that I found myself smiling along with him. Kai's told us about you. He didn't tell me about you. I raised an eyebrow. Dude is probably scared I'd steal you from under his nose. I'm the most handsome too. I chuckled. With that he led me through the doors and towards the huge dining hall I know waited across the gallery. Unlike all the other times I had been here, the glamorous room was entirely empty. Only the bar by the windows was occupied by none other than my fiancé. I'll take your leave. But if you ever need me to mess with his phone, give me a call. His texts are as dry as a toast left out in the desert. Liam gave me a mock, two-finger salute and headed out. I didn't have time to return it because I felt a piercing gaze on the side of my face. I knew I had caught Kai's attention. My steps slowed down when I took him in, carefully making my way through the empty tables. Even a mere steps away, his gaze was so potent that it slid under my skin and lit it on fire. You managed to reserve the entire restaurant for yourself? I started, hoping to dispel some of the nervous energy building up in my belly. For us. His deep, gravelly voice did nothing to help the nerves in my stomach. He stood up as I reached the bar. I had to lean my head back to take a look at his face. And boy, did I regret that. This man was sinfully hot. Looks like Samar's innuendos had actually taken root in my brain. With the way he held my hand and helped me up the bar stool, you'd think Kai was a complete gentleman in a fitted suit who can make you swoon with loving endearments. But now I knew that under all that finery was a cold-blooded man. One who apparently murdered snitches with ice picks, came an inside voice, obviously stuck on Samar's story. Before he moved away, he bent down. So close, I felt his breath on my ear. It led to an involuntary shiver that almost made me lose my hold my clutch. You look beautiful. I saw his lips quirk up as he leaned back up and took a seat. The compliment coupled with the smile threw me off track. Insecurities creeped their way under my skin as I sat still, uncertain whether he was being genuine or just mocking me. It seemed all the confidence I had felt got left behind on my doorstep. Instinctively, I reached for the collar of my dress and pulled it to cover my scar. Leave it to trauma to make you feel unworthy of praise. There's no need for false adoration, Mr. DeSantis. We are here to discuss our contract after all, I said, crossing one leg over the other and smoothing a hand over my dress. The bartender quietly made his way towards us. Scotch. Neat. Kai ordered, his eyes never moving from me. And your usual cranberry cooler, Miss Castra? The bartender smiled at me. Yes, please. Thank you, Jay. I returned his smile. Your usual? Kai asked, raising an eyebrow. I come here often with my father. For meetings and dinners. Kai nodded his head thoughtfully. He cast one look at Jay's retreating back before coming back to me. Why did I not like that he looked away from me? It's like the sliver of warmth evaporated. It wasn't helping that our stools were too close to each other. I was hardly able to think straight with the way his knee kept brushing mine, and his strong, masculine scent wrapped itself around me like a cloud. Why do you think it's false? His gaze burned into my face. I am just complimenting my lovely fiancé. I tucked a strand of hair behind my ear, still getting used to how heavy the ring felt on my finger. Forgive me, I haven't heard that word being used to describe me in the longest time. Why is that? He leaned forward. His gaze was dancing with mine, as if with a smirk and a few deep, dark questions, he was confident he could get me to reveal all my secrets. And I knew he knew. There is no way he couldn't. Let's not play this game, Mr. DeSantis. It is very clear you now know about my past, given how accessible the information is. Question is, Are you willing to associate yourself with me? I am not exactly the untouched, pure woman men like you want as a wife. A small smile touched his lips, but it was far from warm. It carried so much ice that I felt it seeping across the bar and embedding into my body. Do not put me in the same group as your father, Bella. I'll take those ludicrous standards and beat him to death with it. He didn't set the standards. The society did. I'll kill him regardless. And then I'll kill the entire society, which I stopped listening to a long time ago. Why do you hate him so much? My father? Because he is a power-hungry, lying snake who took advantage of my father in my absence. So have a lot of people. I shrugged, recalling father and Marco discussing details over dinner. Why so much hate alone for my mind? Are you concerned about him? His eyes glinted. Hardly. I rolled my eyes. Consider it morbid curiosity. I'll sate all your curiosity once you're safely back in my city, Bella. The word rolled off Kai's tongue in that deep, accented lilt, smooth and deliberate, like he was savoring the taste of it. And damn him for it, because despite the resentment curling in my chest, something low in my stomach fluttered in response. Stop calling me that. My hands squeezed by my knees. Bella. Kai leaned back on his stool, his smirk deepening as if he found my irritation amusing. Why should I? It suits you. It's condescending, I replied sharply, my fingers curling tighter against my knees. You don't even know me. Kai tilted his head slightly, his gaze raking over me, slow and assessing. Bella means beautiful. And you are. I let out a sharp, humorless laugh. You and I both know that's not true. My voice was quieter now, but firm. Not in the way you mean it. Not in the way that word is supposed to be used. His smirk faded, replaced by something more thoughtful. Measured. His eyes flicked to my hands, his expression softening, but only for a fleeting moment. I think I know enough. You think beauty is fragile, delicate, something untouched. But your scars, they don't make you less. They make you fiercer. They tell me you survived something that should have destroyed you. I know you're fiery, intelligent, and fiercely guarded. And I know you're beautiful, even if you can't bear to hear it. I swallowed hard, hating the way my throat tightened, hating the way his words felt like they were peeling back something I wasn't ready to expose. I quickly masked my reaction by taking the drink Jay had returned with. The chilled glass offered a welcome distraction as I focused on the condensation pooling at its base. You're wrong, I muttered, looking away. Kai only chuckled, a sound both dark and amused. No, Bella, he murmured. I'm rarely ever wrong. Kai swirled his scotch, the amber liquid catching the low light of the bar. If calling you Bella bothers you so much, what would you prefer? Mrs. DeSantis. I nearly choked on my sip. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's just a contract. Contracts can turn into something more, he said, his voice dropping just enough to make me shiver. I met his gaze again, determined not to let him see how much he was getting under my skin. This contract is temporary. 12 months and then we're done. He raised his glass in a mock toast. A year is a long time. People can change. And feelings? I asked before I could stop myself. Kai's smirk vanished, replaced by something heavier, something unreadable. He took a slow sip of his scotch, never breaking eye contact. They are dangerous. Best to keep them out of it. Afraid of yours, Mr. DeSantis? More like too occupied to have any. The unspoken tension between us hung thick in the air as we fell into silence. It was clear he was asking me not to catch any feelings and decimate any notions of a conventional marriage. Kai broke the silence first, his tone lighter but no less sharp. So, Ms. Castra, do you plan to challenge me at every turn, or is this just your way of keeping things interesting? I tilted my head, meeting his playful tone with a smirk of my own. Maybe I just enjoy the game, Mr. DeSantis. I don't want you to feel bored during these 12 months of our marriage. Kai chuckled low, the sound vibrating in the air between us. Boredom won't be an issue with you, Bella. I'm slowly becoming certain of that. I rolled my eyes, sipping my drink, the tartness of the cranberry a sharp contrast to the heat of the moment. Let's cut to the chase. When do you want this charade to start? His smirk deepened, a predator circling its prey. Eager to become Mrs. DeSantis already? You wish, I shot back, though the weight of the ring on my finger begged to differ. But if we're doing this, we need a date. Unless you plan to keep me dangling indefinitely. Kai leaned forward, setting his glass on the bar with deliberate precision. 2 months. I blinked. 2 months to plan a wedding in Denver? That, too, during peak wedding season? That's impossible. Kai's smirk grew sharper as he leaned back, arm resting casually on the bar as though he hadn't just dropped a bombshell. 2 months is more than enough time. I have the people and the resources to pull it off. You just need to show up and say, I do. I stared at him, incredulous. Show up? A wedding isn't some board meeting you can schedule between lunch and a hostile takeover. His chuckle rumbled low and deep, a sound that sent shivers racing down my spine. You underestimate what money and power can accomplish. Every detail will be taken care of. His words settled in the pit of my stomach, a stark reminder that I was signing away my autonomy, at least temporarily. I tried to steady my breath, ignoring the strange mix of trepidation and curiosity blooming inside me. Once we're married, what's this sleeping situation going to be? Kai arched a brow, amused. Separate rooms, of course. Unless you were hoping for something else. Not at all. I retorted quickly, too quickly, and his smirk deepened. My face burned as I fumbled with the next question. Are you seeing someone? Or involved with anyone? The question felt heavy, and I didn't quite understand why my chest tightened as I asked it. Kai's expression shifted slightly, his amusement giving way to something more serious. As I told you before, he said, his voice calm but firm, I don't have the time or energy for relationships. If I need a distraction, I find a willing partner for a quick release. No strings attached. A strange, unwelcome feeling twisted in my chest. Was it relief? Or something else entirely? My voice was quieter when I asked, Are you suggesting we're allowed separate partners during our marriage? His eyes darkened, the air between us suddenly crackling with intensity. No, he said, his tone sharp and final. While I won't be seeking anyone else, I also can't have my wife traipsing around with strange men. It's not just a matter of image, it's about respect. The weight of his words made my throat dry, but before I could respond, his tone softened, turning silky, almost predatory. Besides, if you ever find yourself in need of satisfaction, his hand slid down my arm, fingers brushing against the bare skin of my thigh where my dress had ridden up, I'd be more than happy to offer my services. My breath caught, and I froze as his fingers lingered, the touch igniting sparks on my skin. Kai, I managed, though my voice sounded shaky even to me. His touch was definitely making me rethink about making peace with a year of celibacy too quickly. He leaned closer, his warm breath fanning against my cheek. Just something to think about, Bella, he murmured, his lips curving into a devilish smile before he pulled back, leaving a trail of heat in his wake. I sat there, stunned, the weight of his suggestion and his touch, lingering in the air. This was going to be a long year,